Hello and welcome back to another video on the channel, where this time I'm going to talk about Barcelona and which 5 players they should sign this summer ahead of the 23-24 season. And of course these are only my opinions, so I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, both about the 5 players that I'm gonna reveal in a moment, as well as which 5 players would you want Barcelona to sign in your opinion. And I tried to be somewhat realistic, so considering the club's financial situation, I for example didn't write, or I won't write Mbappe on this board, just a warning if anyone thought that. But either way, I'm gonna tell those players that I would want them to sign, those 5 players, talk about some other names as well, and let's get to that next. So these are the 5 players that I have come up with, mixture of youth and experience. First player that I've gone with is Arnau Martinez. Maybe not everyone is familiar with his name. 20-year-old fullback, right back from Girona. And I do think right back position, it has been a bit of a problematic position for Barcelona for many years now, ever since really Dani Alves left the club for the first time. And Gundogan Araujo did okay job there last season, but I do think they would need reinforcements to right back position, and Arnau Martinez could be just that. Maybe cheaper option than for example Frimpong, so it would be better in the financial matter as well. And Arnau Martinez grown up in La Masia youth system, so he knows the club already quite well. So that's one of the, or maybe some reasons why I would go with Arnau Martinez. I wouldn't pay anything crazy for him though. I wouldn't go above maybe 20-25 million. So if they could get him like 10-15 million, that would be a good signing for them. I would sign 2 midfielders. First one would be Fabrizio Diaz, the young Uruguayan defensive midfielder, 20-year-old, that captained Uruguay to Under-20 World Cup victory, and he really impressed me there, as he did impress many others as well, so his price tag keeps going up. Barcelona, they would have to act quickly if they want him. I wouldn't pay anything more than maybe 15-20 million, but I do think he's a good young player. And of course, with Busquets leaving, that defensive midfield position is maybe open there, but I don't think he's going to be the starting lineup player for maybe first 1 or 2 years, but he would still be a good signing for them. And what was interesting was in the final against Italy in the Under-20 World Cup final, he really seemed to like to shoot from long distance, something that hasn't been there in the Barcelona after really Rakitic left, so that would be interesting to see as well, because I do think Barcelona, they would need someone who can shoot and score from long distance. Second one, the second midfielder, more experienced player, Ilkay Gundogan, 32-year-old, and well, he won the treble with Manchester City, what more can you ask? So experienced player and won many trophies with Guardiola, so I do think he would fit into Barcelona pretty well. And of course Gundogan, he seems to score important goals, for example against Manchester United in the FA Cup final, 2 goals there, and he would be an interesting player if Barcelona could sign him, and he would be available on a free transfer as well, so I do think Barcelona should get him. For the midfield position, I should also probably mention Bernardo Silva, and why I didn't write him to this board is simply because I do think the price probably goes too high for Barcelona, considering their financial situation. But if Barcelona could sign him to maybe 60 million or less, I do think he would be a great signing for them. But for the 2 attacking positions, I went with, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, Vitor Roque or something like that, the Brazilian forward, 18-year-old, and he's well, he has impressed many people both with the Brazil shirt as well in the Brazilian league, and he's a young player, but the price seems to be a bit high for me, 35 or 40 million. I may be well, interesting to see. I maybe wouldn't go that high, maybe 30 million or less, but he seems like a very good player and with a lots of potential, so I would sign him, as well as a more experienced player, Roberto Firmino. And why is that? Is that he's 31-year-old, brings experience to that locker room that would be needed after Alba's and Busquets' departures, and he scored 11 goals, 4 assists this year in the Premier League, even though he didn't play all the games for Liverpool and he didn't get that much responsibility considering or comparing to the previous years, but he still scored more Premier League goals than in his 3 years before that. So I do think Firmino could be a good signing, maybe backup option for Lewandowski in the striker position. And also some other names I would like to mention. Marcus Thuram, 13 goals with Mönchengladbach in Bundesliga. That would be an interesting signing on a free transfer as well. Firmino would be on a free transfer. And maybe Angel Di Maria, even though I know he has played for Real Madrid in the past. But Angel Di Maria would bring his experience certainly to that locker room as well. Maybe not the best season with Juventus, but that would be an interesting signing as well. What are your thoughts? And which players would you want Barcelona to sign this summer? And hit the like and subscribe for more football content, and have a nice day.